My name is Damalisa Lee and I am the founder of the Ideation Corner. I invite you to join me on Friday the 19th of November to celebrate women entrepreneurs. In Uganda, women entrepreneurs account for over 40% of all businesses in the country. My name is Damalisa Lee and I am the founder of the Ideation Corner. I invite you to join me on Friday the 19th of November to celebrate women entrepreneurs. In Uganda, women entrepreneurs account for over 40% of all businesses in the country. That's the highest number in any country globally. So Ugandan women entrepreneurs, we hold the #1 place in the world. However, over the last 2 years, the corona pandemic has taken a huge toll on women entrepreneurs. That is why on Friday, the 19th of November, we celebrate these women entrepreneurs who have strived and fought to ensure that their businesses survive. These women have demonstrated resilience, tenacity, courage, and strength to ensure that their businesses do not die. The women entrepreneurs will talk to us on Friday, the 19th of November, and tell us the impact that the corona pandemic has had on their businesses, the challenges that they faced and how they mitigated them, the opportunities that they grasped during the pandemic, and they'll also tell us what they see is the future of women entrepreneurship. The whole event is going to be live streamed, so I invite you to join me in this celebration. So if you're a woman, I invite you. If you're a brother to a sister, you are invited. If you're a boyfriend to a girlfriend, you're invited. If you're a husband to a wife, you're invited. If you have nieces, you're invited. If you're a father to a daughter, you are invited. So everyone is invited. My name is Damalisa Lee and I am the founder of the Ideation Corner. I invite you to join me on Friday, the 19th of November to celebrate women entrepreneurs. In Uganda, women entrepreneurs account for over 40% of all businesses in the country. That's the highest number in any country globally.
Acting Secretary General of Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ms. Blessing Immaculate, the Women Entrepreneurship Day Organization Uganda Ambassador, Damalisa Lee, our panelists, our participants here today, our online family, media, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Women Entrepreneurship Day, which is celebrated globally every 19th of November. Women Entrepreneurship Day organization is the world's largest non-governmental volunteer grassroots movement and mission dedicated to celebrating and supporting and empowering women worldwide. The Women Entrepreneurship Day organization, in short, is called We Do, and it encourages 4 billion women worldwide to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams with the goal of inspiring hope and alleviating poverty. We Do today, on the 19th of November, appoints our very own Damalisa Lee as the Ugandan ambassador to join the movement to empower women in business. Thanks to our participants here today who have made time to come and celebrate this movement that seeks to alleviate poverty. You may ask how, but you know, women, any woman that has an income will spend 60% of this income on her business. The other 40% will go back to her family, so it will cater for education, food, and health. If a child is well fed and educated, that is definitely a way of alleviating poverty. The agenda for this year is to focus on the impact of artificial intelligence, fintech, blockchain technologies, and the disruption happening globally, and importance women play. We Do ambassadors have grown to be celebrated in 144 countries and 110 universities. It convenes of business leaders, government officials, civil society, and entrepreneurs that are represented today. This year, we are joined by a number of high-level. I'll just mention a few. We have Her Royal Highness Princess Martha Louise of Norway. We have Ellen Murray. She's the co-CEO of Bridgewater Associates, which is the world's largest hedge fund. And then, of course, our very own Damali Sally, the founder of Ideation Corner. Damali Sally brings together a host of experience for innovation and development for women entrepreneurs. I'll be introducing her shortly and highlight the numerous hats that she wears, so please do hold on to your seat. At this point, I would like to take us through the agenda for today's event. We will have remarks from Damali Sally, who is our We Do Uganda ambassador. This will be followed by remarks from Wendy Diamond. She's the founder and CEO of We Do. We will then have our first panel session that is represented by women from different sectors. Then we will have remarks from Imelda Lutenberger. She's the We Do Eastern and Regional Ambassador. And then we will have our second panel discussion. And lastly, remarks from our chief guest, the Acting Secretary General of Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ms. Blessing Immaculate. Then, of course, lunch and departure. So, before I invite my guest, I just want to give us a brief about who she is. Damali Sally is a Ugandan Afro-optimist, author and founder of Ideation Corner. She established Ideation Corner, a social impact investment fund that seeks a Uganda where every innovative entrepreneur has access to capital to scale their business. Her range of expertise includes financial services, trade policy, technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. She is an alumni of the Harvard Business School, where she specialized in executive leadership. She holds a master's in business administration from Grenoble Graduate School of Business in France, with specialization in innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship management. Damali is an accountant by training and a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants and an affiliate of Institute of Public-Private Partnerships. I told you, it's a lot. Please hold on to your seat. She started off her career in financial services industry in the City of London, where she was working with one of the largest hedge funds in the world. She later transitioned her career and moved back to Uganda to focus on trade development and facilitation. And for the last 8 years, until July 2021, she has been working with Trademark East Africa. This is where we actually met and worked closely together, managing a big country portfolio of about $150 million. In that time, a lot was achieved for the country. 7 one-stop border posts were constructed, a logistics hub in Gulu was constructed, several trade facilitation government systems were put in place, and Damali also worked closely with the private sector to improve the business environment. Back in 2013, Damali Sally had dreams of setting up a venture capital fund to support innovative young Ugandans with seed funding. And she is still very passionate about pursuing this through the Ideation Corner. Please join me as we welcome Damali Sally, We Do ambassador and founder of Ideation Corner. Welcome, Damali.
Sandra, thank you so much for that long introduction. And she's abbreviated it a little bit. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am so glad that you will join us today in the celebration of women entrepreneurs. On my own behalf, wearing my 2 hats as the founder of the Ideation Corner and also the ambassador of Women's Day Entrepreneurship Organization Uganda, I would like to start off by recognizing the generous partners who have come on board to support us and sponsor this celebration. These partners are High People, specifically the CEO Innocent Kawoya and his team, Then the Stanbic Business Incubator, specifically the CEO Tony Otoa and his team. Met Media, specifically the CEO Emma Chintu and his team. Our chief guest, the Acting Secretary General of the Uganda Chamber of Commerce Industry, Blessing Immaculate Owomugisha. And finally, the Ideation Corner team led by Nicholas Kalungi. Thank you all for your contribution. In Uganda, women entrepreneurs account for 40% of all businesses. This is the highest number in any country. So Ugandan women entrepreneurs, we hold the #1 place in the world, and I am so proud of that fact. However, over the last 2 years, the corona pandemic has taken a huge toll on women entrepreneurs. Some have lost their businesses, they have lost their working capital, they have lost their jobs, they have lost their livelihoods, and they have lost their safety nets. I am always reminded of the informal cross-border traders, 70% of whom are women, who pre-pandemic, back in 2019, sold goods worth $500 million in that year alone to our neighbors. That is to Kenya, to the Democratic Republic of Congo, to South Sudan, to Tanzania, and Rwanda. These women lost their working capital, which on average is about 200,000 Uganda shillings or $60 per woman. They lost this working capital when all border activities were stopped in order to curtail the spread of the corona pandemic across the border communities. Unfortunately, this scenario has been replayed over the last 2 years for many women, both in formal businesses and informal businesses. So we do take note of that. However, today, we choose to celebrate and recognize women entrepreneurs who have fought hard and strived to keep their businesses afloat during this period. These women entrepreneurs have demonstrated resilience, tenacity, courage, adaptability, and unwavering persistence to ensure that their businesses survive. The women entrepreneurs here today, all of whom have been featured on the Ideation Corner, so you should check out their stories on the Ideation Corner YouTube channel, are going to tell us the challenges they faced during the pandemic, the opportunities that they grasped during the pandemic, and finally, they're going to tell us their expectations of women entrepreneurship for the future, for Uganda's future women entrepreneurs. These representatives of women entrepreneurs here today are from a wide range of sectors, including education, technology, agriculture, construction, design, manufacturing, and e-commerce. I am therefore certain that you'll find this discussion that is going to be moderated by my good friend Sandra Chirega very insightful. I am very happy to give special recognition to Wendy Diamond, the founder of WeDo. WeDo is the world's largest non-governmental volunteer grassroots movement that is dedicated to celebrating, supporting, and empowering women worldwide. WeDo encourages 4 billion women worldwide to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams with the goal of inspiring hope and alleviating poverty. I am the WeDo ambassador for Uganda, and I work with other ambassadors globally who are in 144 countries in over 100 universities. As WeDo ambassadors, we work globally to spread the message. And this message is to empower women and girls to become active participants in the economy. This is done by igniting a network of women leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs to initiate startups, drive economic expansion, and advance communities across the world. We are fortunate that we are going to hear from Wendy Diamond today, who is going to speak to us, as well as the WeDo ambassador for the African region. Finally, as I close, I am reminded that there is no celebration without a present. So all of you, I'm going to give you a gift, and this gift is in the form of the electronic copy of the Ideation Corner book. You can access it, log on to the Ideation Corner website, www.ideationcorner.com. On the first page, you find the link that says download ebook, and it is my gift to you as we celebrate. I would like to thank Charlotte Meza, who's worked tirelessly day and night to make sure that you can access this book. With those few words, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you very much, Damali Sali. I think let's give another big round of applause. She's been very modest, but the people she mentioned that have put this together and herself have done this on a voluntary basis. So the fact that you're giving your resources and time, thank you all very much. I realized I didn't introduce myself. I was so excited to start the event. But I'm Sandra Kirenga. I'll be your MC and also the moderator for the panel discussion. Without taking so much of your time, the next item agenda is remarks from Wendy Diamond. Damali mentioned her before. She's the founder and CEO of We Do, and she'll be joining us virtually. So we have her remarks on the screen. So everybody, let's please stand and look onto the screen.
Hello, I'm Wendy Diamond, founder of Women's Entrepreneurship Day organization, We Do, and I'm thrilled to be sharing We Do 2021 with you. This is an empowering movement for women across the globe who are leading the way to a whole new world. I would love to recognize one really special woman, Damali, our ambassador in Uganda. She is the most incredible woman who is literally volunteering to empower, celebrate, and support women in your country. We are beyond grateful. I founded Women's Entrepreneurship Day in 2013 after volunteering for the Adelante Foundation in Honduras, which provides microloans to impoverished women. I learned that when microloans are offered to women, not Diamond, founder of Women's Entrepreneurship Day organization, We Do, and I'm thrilled to be sharing We Do 2021 with you. This is an empowering movement for women across the globe who are leading the way to a whole new world. I would love to recognize one really special woman, Damali, our ambassador in Uganda. She is the most incredible woman who is literally volunteering to empower, celebrate, and support women in your country. We are beyond grateful. I founded Women's Entrepreneurship Day in 2013 after volunteering for the Adelante Foundation in Honduras, which provides microloans to impoverished women. I learned that when microloans are offered to women, not only do women find the means to work and support themselves and their families, their work bolsters the local economies. What's more, women to take upon themselves to pay back these loans at a 98% rate, almost 100%. Women worldwide have historically been underpaid, undervalued, underrepresented, underfunded, and underestimated, and we still are. We Do is here to change that. My vision for We Do was to create a simplified movement, a ground-up approach to uplift the 4 billion women on the planet to create better futures for themselves and ultimately achieve gender equality. We are celebrating our 8th anniversary. I'm proud to say the We Do movement is stronger than ever, with an incredible army of over 300 global ambassadors with over 250,000 members leading and celebrating Women's Entrepreneurship Day and championing We Do movement in 144 countries. We are empowering women and girls to take an active role in the economy and igniting a network of women leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs to launch startups, drive economic expansion, and strengthen communities around the world. Our mission is to catalyze positive social change and economic growth from the ground up, especially for the 2.5 billion people unbanked that are mostly impoverished women, and to celebrate, empower, and support women entrepreneurs. With the continuing economic downturn due to the COVID-19, women and minorities have been the hardest hit sectors of our global economy. The devastating impact of the pandemic on women-owned businesses threatens to reverse decades of economic gains achieved by these very women. An alarming report by Oxfam International shows us that in 2020 alone, women around the world lost more than 64 million jobs. the equivalent of 5% of the total jobs held by women globally. In addition, this loss of jobs due to the pandemic cost women around the world at least $800 billion in earnings, a figure that is more than the combined GDP of 98 countries. Investing in women has never been a higher priority or more critical. Yet, women continue to defy the odds in the face of the pandemic. We are an undeniable, unstoppable force. I am here today to remind you to never forget that. We have always known that the future is female. We do, women entrepreneurs do make a difference. Our foundation, with our partnership with Opportunity International, we are proud to be funding 1,000 impoverished women with microloans to start their entrepreneurial journey, providing these women with a hand up, not a hand out. And we are also happy to announce that we have an initiative to fund 100,000 women in Afghanistan with crypto. We are going to be creating a unique peer-to-peer ecosystem through direct access with cryptocurrency. We are providing the funding for these women who suddenly found themselves thrust into crisis after the rapid fall of the government to become more self-sufficient and to provide food for their families. This year, we are so excited that we initiated and funded the launch of the very first Women's Disability Startup Cohort in partnership with Together International. We are literally providing funding through this partnership with our We Do network of supporters, including the most amazing Maureen Arbus. This inspiration actually happened last year during Women's Entrepreneurship Day when we interviewed Judy Heumann, the human rights pioneer. She inspired me to think of this amazing idea, and we're so happy that this launched this last year during the anniversary of the American Disabilities Act. And we are super excited that Google for Startups has committed to funding the continued growth of this program. Woohoo! To support women with disabilities to become the best entrepreneurs they can be. I believe there are 5 keys to a woman becoming a successful entrepreneur. You need to have passion. You must absolutely love what you're doing and put your whole heart and soul into your goal. Persistence. You must never, ever give up. You will hear a million no's. However, it just takes one yes to change your life forever. Perseverance. An entrepreneur's journey can be super rough. Remember that you have the power within you to overcome any obstacle or any challenge. And purpose. Find your why. Something bigger than you that fills you with passion and purpose. Far more important than financial success is your ability to make a positive imprint on this world. And lots of puppy love. Whether it's with a human or a dog, you need to find a person that's going to give you unconditional loyalty, unconditional love, and a lasting bond, because being an entrepreneur is rough. You need someone in your corner, always there for you, supporting you. And I want to share my deepest thanks from everyone a part of We Do, and including our partners, NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, AWS, UBS, and Ninja Hideout for joining the We Do mission to support, empower, and uplift women around the world in business. Thank you to each and every one of you for making a difference in the world and joining us. And especially the incredible ambassadors that are part of our movement that are donating their time to make this dream a reality. We do. Women entrepreneurs do make a difference. Never forget that. In actuality, Women's Entrepreneurship Day is not just today, but every day, 365 days a year. So support, empower, and celebrate women in business every day. Together, we will change the world to become a better place for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wendy Diamond, for that energetic, exciting remarks. Next on the agenda, this is where it gets very exciting. We're going to have our first panel session. and it's a representation of women from the education sector, agriculture, and architecture. So from education, we have Shamim Nyerere, the founder and CEO of Izere Education. She is an educator who believes that the future belongs to critical thinkers, problem solvers, competent communicators, and solution thinkers. Shamim has been hosted on the Ideation Corner, where she shares her journey of setting up Izere Education and how she leverages technology to do so. You're very welcome, Shamim. From the agriculture sector, we've got Laura Nachigozi. Laura is the founder and CEO of Cloverdale Farm. Laura is an economist turned self-taught farmer. She has been hosted on the Ideation Corner, where she tells her journey of setting up Cloverdale Farm. You're very welcome, Laura. And then the third is our Lynn Bahati from the architecture sector. Lynn Bahati Ndinda is the founder and CEO of House of Ndinda. Lynn did not let her challenges she had of pursuing a university degree nor a lack of capital to start her business to stop her from following her passion in interior design. Against all odds, Lynn started her own company and is her own boss, hiring fellow youth along the way. She too has been hosted on the Ideation Corner and shares her journey of setting up House of Ndinda. You're very welcome, ladies. You're very welcome, ladies. I will start with Shamim. So you're a teacher by profession, and you set up an academy that provides online classes. What challenges did you face when the pandemic hit us about 2 years ago, and how did you make sure that you were still able to continue pursuing what you were pursuing?
Thank you very much. So the first pandemic, everybody were really not prepared. But the second pandemic, where the second lockdown found us a little bit prepared. So for the first pandemic, we when schools were closed, we asked ourselves, what do we do to contribute to the learning of children even as they are at home? So we started curating activities every single week to share freely with parents. So we got different parents in WhatsApp groups and we started giving them activities at no cost to engage their children. Like really everybody was trying to look for ways to engage their children. Eventually we put together all these activities and came up with a workbook. And then we eventually worked on having all our trainings go online. And then we launched the academy, Izere Academy. And then we also continue to have sessions on Zoom. So we found we tried to reach different parents within different ways they were reaching us. That those parents who couldn't manage Zoom sessions, but they can take the activities once a week and then they can get back to us. We called them, others joined the academy, others joined Zoom sessions, and we tried to send some activities in low-income communities we work with. That was not so successful because we couldn't get the children together. But eventually we figured we managed amidst the challenges of internet, but we managed, and low connectivity sometimes. But you know, teachers are driven by passion, so there's always a way of you getting to your children.
Thank you very much, Shamim. And I think it's very inspiring that you are offering activities to parents at no cost. Thank you, that's very inspiring. Laura, first of all, congratulations on being a new mom and making time to be here as a Nakawere. Those who don't know what Nakawere means, that's a new mom, so we really appreciate that you've made the time. You were employed before and left because of the low salary you got at the end of the month. You went to your grandmom, bless her, who gave you a piece of land to cultivate. You selected poultry and your business was efficiently running, of course, until the pandemic hit. So what challenges did you face over the last 2 years and what did you do to survive?
Okay, I'm sorry for laughing. The challenges that I faced are like, it's a whole list. But the first thing was the prices of the eggs were so low. I think everyone started buying eggs. I think, yeah, at 5,000, right? But it was pretty hard. At first, of course, as a woman, okay, not as a woman, as me, I decided to feel sorry for myself. I was like, how can this happen? How the middlemen are trying to rip us off. Also the clients themselves, they're like, we're buying from this one at this price. It does not make sense to buy from you at that price. But then it took me some time to realize that, you know what, no one is to blame for this situation. I have to step out of my comfort zone and do the best that I can. So I think I posted some photos online. I was on cars. So I would hit this market today. Tomorrow this market. I would sell over at first I started with 5 trays. So imagine you're coming from Chitimo and then you're driving all the way to Mpelere. That's fuel. And then you're only selling 5 trays. That doesn't even cover fuel, right? So I just pushed on with my driver. I was like, you know what, today we're going to go this. And I realized that people are willing to help, especially a young girl, especially a woman, because I think there is a little bit of trust. So I started getting buyers, and then I started hitting apartments, and I started getting orders. Say I have 5 apartments that I'm selling to in Chanja, and that kind of put me back on track. But before that, I still was feeling sorry for myself. And also, given the fact that I was selling to schools prior, before the COVID hit, it was quite shocking, and my mindset was in that small space. Yeah, so those are the challenges I had.
Thank you, and I think what I'm picking is the passion is what drove you, because you're actually making losses during the pandemic, but you just kept on.
Yes.
And then also the trust from the community.
Yes, it is.
That's very important. Thank you, Laura. Lynn, your story is very inspiring. I did mention it. You had challenges with pursuing a university degree, but you didn't sit down and feel sorry for yourself. You got a job, worked in a bookstore first, and then a furniture store where you learned and self-taught yourself on Google. I have personally seen your work. It's amazing. For those that are wondering how work is at Enduro Coffee Shop, that's also very good. So impressive. So business was booming for you. Then the pandemic hit. What challenges did you face, and what do you do to continue to thrive?
Let me see. Really, like all the ladies here have said, it's more the passion than it is any other drive. Because ultimately, you go back to the house, and this was happening for me. I didn't have any clients, to be honest. And no one is trying to buy a piece of furniture during the pandemic. Everyone is trying to keep the money very close, and they're buying food stuff. So what happened is, I ultimately sat home and said, okay, so there's not money, there's not clients, what can I do? Having come from a background of DIY, do it yourself, I figured I might as well just create things just for the sanity of myself. And that's really what pushed me. And then in that same front, while I created things, the DIY and all, came the idea to also do consultation. I now started to talk about consultation as a separate package. While I operated the first package, it wasn't individualized, which I could actually do online. I didn't have to be in people's homes, which means they're safe from the pandemic, but I could take a consultation. Consultation can also just come to moving things in your house and then giving you a different look. So that is how I kind of managed to maneuver the pandemic. But yes, there's not much money, but it was a start, because when we were finally opened, then people came in to do consultations. Because after you've done it for one person, you've kind of portrayed, it's almost like a platform, you've sort of exposed what exactly entails the consultation, and that kind of in itself sold for me. So that's pretty much.
Thank you very much. You've talked of course, during the pandemic, nothing much was happening. Most of us were home, we couldn't leave our homes, and then we had time to look around our spaces. I'm sure most of us here did. You know, you're thinking, I don't like this paint color, this chair, I can't believe I've never changed anything on that wall. And even kids being homeschooled, you know, people had to think of furniture, because now your kids are not going anymore. Are your kids going to study while they are seated on a chair? You need a chair and a table, just, you know, very simple furniture. Employers were now working at home. Most of us were not going to office anymore. We had to sit at home, and we needed comfortable spaces. So do share the opportunities that the corona pandemic exposed, and how did you tap into those?
Okay, so like you said, there's lots, while there's not people spending, there's the realization that they ought to. Like you said, you have to do homeschool or you have to do office from home. So what happened is I had more furniture making business. Like I could make a table, an office, you know, table or chair for you. So that was one of the things that I got. But like I already mentioned, consultation was such a big thing, because buying furniture is one, knowing what furniture to buy and how to place it is the other. So that was my other big opportunity. Consultation boomed for me, the furniture boomed for me, and then the adoption of social media. That was like a blessing in disguise, sorry. Because you see, while most of us operate physically, there's so much power and so much force that comes with utilizing the social media. So the one thing is, first of all, be teachable, be willing to explore and learn. I can say this in a million ways, but I think that kind of was the opportunity that I got. So I started to show people behind the scenes, what am I making? Even when I'm making in the house. Like I had a painting situation in my house that I was just doing with DIY, you know, and behind the scenes, sharing it on social media. So that kind of had traction for me. I had more people looking at my page, because like you say, we're not doing the thing. So social media is kind of where we all run to sort of ease our minds into this, you know, into the pandemic. So the opportunity I got was the use of social media. So it was an opportunity.
Thank you. So use of social media, and then you also got more businesses that were now more customized to the situation that we were all in. Shamin, with no physical classes, you did mention that you now had to move online, and most of some of your clients couldn't do online every day. I know that you did go to Kamocha and you set up a space for kids there that have no access to education and were being taught how to use a computer. That's again very inspiring. So now when the lockdown happens, you have this space, you're teaching these kids, and then you would also train them to train the others. So training of trainers. You basically use the community to continue the training, which is very sustainable. So now with the pandemic, how was that affected, and what did you do to ensure that some of those services that you were providing could continue, and also that, you know, the classes could also continue?
Okay. So the things we do at Izere, we are not teaching math, English, science, because schools are already doing that. So we are teaching skills in the space of getting children to be more creative, to be critical thinkers, to be problem solvers, and to be really competent for today's skills. We all go to work and see how much work has changed, and we all know, in our hearts, we truly know that in 10 years or 20 years, things will really have changed. We don't even know how they will change. So then how do we prepare our children? That is the basics where we begin from. So even the things we are sharing with the children in the pandemic, we are just getting them to use the knowledge they have. So those activities are really easy to create, and also get skills like, how do you teach children to communicate? How do you teach children to solve problems even when there's no school time? How do you teach them self-leadership when there's no timetable telling them do this, do that? So we set up the space, we extend those skills to low-income communities, because in low-income communities, parents are really looking for survival, they're looking for food. The least they can do is say, let them teach children new skills like digital skills like programming, even though we know that right now in the age we are in, for a child to learn coding, it's as important as numeracy and literacy. So we extend those services in low-income communities. We set up innovation centers, creative spaces, but we don't have the resources to go there. And also because it's a lockdown, you're not carrying a lot of people in there. So we get the children are smart. Our young people are really, really smart in communities. And we have young people who are not employed in there. So what we do is when we set up a space in a community, we look at the young people in there who are passionate. The first thing is passion and willing to learn. Like Bahati said, we all need to learn, to be willing to learn and be teachable. So we train them to be para-educators. What are the basics of childhood psychology? How do you boost children's esteem? How do you teach? We give them resources to teach and lesson plans. So they have that basic skill to teach, to facilitate. We don't teach, we facilitate the learning. So we get them to run that program. In exchange, they are learning to work, so they are gaining work skills. They're also learning more about digital skills, and then they are helping the children. But unfortunately, when we got in the community, for example, in Kamosha, you come to say teaching digital skills or boosting children's esteem or teaching them creativity, but children as 9 years and 10 years can't even write their names. They have really lost it. These 2 years they've been home. So there was a crisis of literacy. And then we had to say, let's first pause whatever we are doing and focus on getting the basics done. And we have 3 trainers in the community doing that. So we have a working prototype which can be replicated in different communities, and it can transform the learning there. It has been, so we also adopted really digital. We are saying we are teaching digital skills. Today's education has to change, but we are also still doing it physically because people didn't believe that younger children can actually learn online. So COVID for us, we embraced the opportunity that was in COVID of people realized actually children can learn online and it's doable. So we've gotten so many people study that would normally say, no, we want to come physically. So we are there. That's what we've done. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shamim. And the skills that you're teaching, I think, are skills that are required in all schools. Yeah. As you said, you're not doing the traditional literacy, math, but then soft skills, these are very key. How do you communicate? You've mentioned self-leadership. These are very, very important, and this is just an idea. You could think of providing these to also the schools that are able to pay for them, and then using that to then provide to the low income that come, because it's very, very important. We have so many students leaving university with degrees. So many of them are competing for jobs, and what employers are really looking are those soft skills. Can you communicate? Can you negotiate? Emotional intelligence and all of that. So what you're doing is very, very good. Keep doing that work. And what I've gotten from you is you did see this as an opportunity to go digital, and you had a lot in terms of changing the perspective of parents and even teachers to know that children can also study online. Thank you for that. Laura, you started poultry, and your story is when you were looking at the structures that you needed to put a brick and water. These were quite costly, and you wanted to find a more cheaper, sustainable way of doing it. So you went on Google. Again, all these ladies, they're self-teaching themselves. This is one key lesson I'm picking out from here. You went on Google, you found out what option, and found bamboo. You applied this. This was actually a hit because now you had other farmers coming to your farm and wanting to adopt this. This again is very impressive. So what opportunities were presented to you, and how did you tap into these to benefit your business?
So like Bahati said, social media use increased. So many people would log into Facebook, and I used that opportunity. I started improving on my craft, because before my bamboo cages were just made by me and my workers, but this time I actually went further and learned how to better my cages and how to make them more long-lasting. So I started uploading videos, like you said. I think that people relate a lot if you bring them into your space. So we started posting videos of how we're making the cages, and it helped so many people who always thought I needed land to start a business, to start my poultry. This time they were like, oh, I can actually make bamboo and put it in my outside bathroom and actually raise some chicken, or in the compound. And that increased interest, it sparked interest in so many people, and especially women. Funny thing, if not 90% were women who came to the farm after that. And it also helped me, it enabled me to look into something else that I hadn't thought before. Now I started selling the bamboo seedlings that I'd gotten from my farm. And now people who had land, people say I have land, but it's all the way in Arua, but they want to stay in the city. So they started procuring seedlings, planting, and were able to, right now we're on 57 acres of people who have bought bamboo seedlings from us, and it helped us a lot. I would say social media did help us, and that is the biggest opportunity I got.
Thank you, Laura. Before I move to the next question, what I'm picking out here is use of technology. That's such a big opportunity, and that's what you are all able to tap into to, make sure your businesses continue to thrive. Our last question to each of you, please do share what the future of Ugandan women entrepreneurs looks like. We'll start with you, Laura.
It's in my department, my industry, I feel like we're dominating more. Women are dominating more because they put a lot of passion into businesses, and mostly, again, in my industry, with livestock, I see many women venturing into poultry. And with the women that we're working with in our community, I feel like, not that I feel like, I see huge difference. I see many households increasing on their income, things that were not thought of before. They always needed permission from their men to start businesses, and now they're actually coming up. They're like, you know what, I can do this. If a young girl can do that, I can do this. So I see in my industry, that's how our business is going.
Thank you, Laura. That's a powerful one. Lynn?
The future is female. I'll start with that. The reason I say this is because innately, women, the strength we have is we're more organized or multitaskers. We can pretty much pull off anything if we put our mind to it. And I find that having shared, and especially for the industry of carpentry and furniture, which is very daunting for most people, if you think about it, it's a male-dominated space. I find that having shared my story, first of all, I'm an actual Ugandan, so I'm relative. People feel like, oh, if she can do it, I can also do it. And I actually realized that people that I've had about, say, 4 or 5 people reach out in the space of the pandemic, young girls, say, hi, I'm looking to work in the same industry, or I'm looking to, so it's sort of in a way given a boost of confidence. And like I already said, we have the strength to multitask. We can use it for a strength as opposed to a fear. So that is one. So I honestly think that we have a chance to be very much adaptive. The other thing I would mention is that if we can collaborate with the men, I mean, you can only do much as a woman. If the field is already male dominated, instead of being original, which is a good thing, but I think it takes longer for you to catch up. If you want to catch up real fast and make this, future female, like we were saying, I think you want to do lots of collaborations with the same men, because they already have things you can learn from them while they also learn from you. I know that it's not always easy, but resilience will take you places. Again, if someone is coming at you with fire, and I'm using this figuratively to kind of cover the part where you're going to get a little bit bullied or maybe disregarded as a woman in the industry, do not stop. Keep trying. Try another way. Come simpler. Come soft. If you have to, be nice. I'm not saying be disrespected. I'm simply saying you don't have to be raising your voice just like he is. If he thinks, no, you can't, just tell him to teach you. So definitely think the future is female. I'm excited for it. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Lynn. And Shamin?
Okay, by the way, today is International Day of Men. So men, we really celebrate you. We really celebrate you. And we are coming to you for these collaborations. I feel like the future for me, speaking to women, is being bold and actually taking up spaces on the tables. There are lots of people who can do interesting things. There are lots of people who are really good and doing amazing things, but you don't even know about them. Nobody is going to come and hand you those opportunities. You're going to get out of your comfort zone and be a thought leader in your space. Be a thought leader in your furniture space, in your poultry. Be a thought leader in the education. I'm not doing anything different. I'm just being bold and speaking about the things many people know about. So the future for me, for females, is in collaborations, like you said, is in educating ourselves more and selling, monetizing our skills. If you can create, I have created a lot of resources in this time, and the things we know them, you already have them in the head. You can create so many courses. There are many platforms where you can sell the course. There are many opportunities for you to learn online and say, trade or sell or create something. So we are in the age where we are consuming a lot of things we can create. If you can create the bamboo cages, create them. If you can create parrot things, create them. If you can create resources in the education, create them. That's really being entrepreneurs because we're actually doing stuff, not just saying, let's give these women voice because, well, they are women and they deserve to have a voice. We have that space and we can do this stuff. So for me, the future is going there, being bold, getting more education, creating more resources, and selling. Speaking about
it. Thank you, fantastic. Just to highlight what you've all shared in terms of where you think the future of Ugandan women entrepreneurs. Laura, you talked about women dominating, going more into livestock. Lynn, you talked about us having the ability to multitask and being very organized. You mentioned collaborating with men. There's a video that Damali Sali shared. Ali, I'm hoping we can find time maybe just between the panel sessions to play it. And just to echo what she said, that men, don't look at this separately because these women are your sisters, they're your daughters, they're your wives, they're your nieces, they're your mothers. So we are all one and really we could do a lot with your support. So that collaboration is very key. And then Shamin being bold and taking up the spaces. And I think that's what most of you here have done. And then one that I have picked up from each of you is educating yourself. We have Google, In our days, our parents didn't have access to this information, but we have Google, and you were able to go into Google and, find how to put things together, and you as well. So really, we have this information available. We just have to be, passionate and very interested to get this information out there. Participants, we've come to the end of the first panel session. I want to really thank Laura, Lynn, and Shamim. Their stories are very inspiring. For more detailed stories and information on how they started and where they've come from, please go into the Ideation Corner. You'll be very inspired. These are just Ugandan like you, and they just have ideas like you do. Don't be afraid. Go listen to their stories and get inspired. Thank you very much. Can we please give them a big round of applause? So thank you very much. Picture. Okay. All right. Thank you. We're just going to take a short break and take some group pictures, just a minute, and then we'll continue with the agenda.
My name is Damali Sali, and I am the founder of the Ideation Corner. I invite you to join me on Friday, the 19th of November, to celebrate women entrepreneurs. In Uganda, women entrepreneurs account for over 40% of all businesses in the country. That's the highest number in any country globally. So Ugandan women entrepreneurs, we hold the #1 place in the world. However, Over the last 2 years, the corona pandemic has taken a huge toll on women entrepreneurs. That is why on Friday, the 19th of November, we celebrate these women entrepreneurs who have strived and fought to ensure that their businesses survive. These women have demonstrated resilience, tenacity, courage, and strength to ensure that their businesses do not die. The women entrepreneurs will talk to us on Friday, the 19th of November, and tell us the impact that the corona pandemic has had on their businesses, the challenges that they faced and how they mitigated them, the opportunities that they grasped during the pandemic, and they'll also tell us what they see is the future of women entrepreneurship. The whole event is going to be live streamed, so I invite you to join me in this celebration. So if you're a woman, I invite you. If you're a brother to a sister, you are invited. If you're a boyfriend to a girlfriend, you're invited. If you're a husband to a wife, you're invited. If you have nieces, you're invited. If you're a father to a daughter, you are invited. So everyone is invited. My name is Damalisa Lee, and I am the founder of the Ideation Corner. I invite you to join me on Friday, the 19th of November, to celebrate women.
Happy Women Entrepreneurship Day. I'm Tatiana Madi, the Pan-Africa Global Ambassador for WIDO Entrepreneurship Day organization. Here we do support, empower, and uplift women in business. Reason why today we celebrate mothers, sisters, aunties, grandmothers, every woman out there who are shaking ground to feed their family and push the economy. We see you and applaud you today. Together with our ambassador Damali Sali, creating this platform of connection for women who are man-like in business and also to support each other in business. We believe that this is the beginning of something very huge that's going to empower every woman in Kampala and allow them to export and expand their business out there. I do celebrate you again and congratulate for all the jobs that you've done on the ground. Well done, well done, well done.
you very much. Indeed, the construction sector is very male-dominated. So what you're saying is you had to be very resilient. So when the pandemic happened, you went online. How different was that from the physical engagement that your dad was doing? What challenges did you face?
Of course, we used to struggle getting clients to, okay, he has machines that make pavers and bricks and all the building blocks, but we struggled getting people buying them, so they would stay in his compound day in, day out, and until, the world went digital. And of course, I have done, my bachelor's was in engineering, but my master's was in data communications and software engineering. So all my practice has been in electrical installation, machine operation. But then now, how do I put the two together? How do I use my IT skills to see that I put my work to the table or to the cause? I had to think of ways, and the world by then was going digital. People were stopped from working, I was not working, I was not earning, and I had to look for ways of standing out. So we sat with my dad, and he's like, you know what, Eunice, I think we can do this. We can actually put up a platform to sell these building materials. I hadn't thought about it because it's been 7 years since I last did IT again, because the distance from doing my bachelor's to my master's was really big. So it had actually been long since I did programming. So I had to go back to it, and of course doing my master's helped me, and then I could put up the platform alone. He gave me 2 weeks. He's like, Eunice, you can pull this off in 2 weeks. I'm like, yes, I can do this. And 2 weeks, I had to run down to the market, check out prices, learn about business, learn about entrepreneurship. It was quite a task. It was quite a lot, but given that I'm in academia, I've learned how to research, I've learned how to read, and I was able to do that in 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, the platform was up. He said, I want to just get on my mobile phone and see it running, and it was. So, yeah, next was just maybe advertising it.
Thank you. And I mean, this just shows, he gave you 2 weeks. You're saying you literally had to learn new tasks and see how you can apply the skills you have to what you have. Other challenges you mentioned, of course, industry being male dominated. You had to literally be resilient and a bit aggressive to be able to get what you want. And then, of course, prices of some of these construction products are very volatile, like for cement. Thank you. And Charlene, you and your family have natural hair, as so many us in the audience do, and you wanted good hair products. So you went out to the market. These were very limited or even not available. So the frustration encouraged you to go online. Just like everyone, you went to Google, you searched what makes good hair products for natural hair, you found the ingredients, and then you started doing it at home.
Yeah.
Your friends were very interested, they said making orders, and then your husband encouraged you to start this business. Again, let's not miss out the role men are playing here. So the pandemic hit, salons are closed. What challenges did you face, and how did your business survive?
The pandemic was a very interesting time for us. The first, especially during the initial lockdowns. We had 2 major challenges last year. The first was the global supply chain being interrupted. Now, we do look locally for a lot of our raw materials, but we also still rely on our packaging coming from China especially, and China was one of the very first countries in the world to be hit by the corona pandemic, and so we found ourselves stuck with access to mostly packaging, but also just a few of the raw materials as well. The second major challenge for us was limited access to how limited the access was to supermarkets for our end consumers. because you know that transportation came to a halt. You could basically, I think for us in Uganda, the most you could do was send your border guy to the supermarket if it wasn't within walking distance of you. So a lot of our products can be found in supermarkets. These are our retail partners. So we started to think about how our end consumers are going to reach the goods, the products that were on supermarket shelves. We had to be very clever about it. So for the first challenge, which was the global supply chain, we were very fortunate to be a data-driven company. So we've always, I feel like when we speak about data, people tend to switch off and think, oh, you know, that's something that is for, you know, the multinationals, the MTN and the Stanbic or whatever, but every business needs to have a handle on their data. And this is something as simple as if you make products, if you have services, what is your best-selling product? What is your best-selling service? For us in manufacturing, it also affects how many resources we can dedicate to each product. So we already had that data on hand. We just had to look to it to make our purchasing decisions, our manufacturing decisions. So we had to be very clever about which products we were going to focus on that would give us the fastest turnaround time in terms of cash, because we had to be very we had to start to be very frugal about how we were spending our cash. Yes, that's how we were able to overcome that as we waited for the world to sort of open up again and be able to import our packaging again. So, and then when it came to the limited access to our retail partners, our supermarkets, we decided to just reach our end consumers directly. And you know, all the ladies in the first panel spoke about the power of social media. And honestly, our business is no different. We had to really amp up the noise that we were making on social media. It was interesting because, like you said, salons were closed, and a lot of women rely on their hairdressers to do their hair. But now, you know, COVID has hit, you're in the lockdown, your hair is not going anywhere. It's still as dirty as it was before, but you have no access to your hairdresser, so what do? You have to wash it yourself. And so we said to people, listen, this is something we can help you with. You can do this yourself at home. We will get the products to you on a border. We will show you how to do it on our social media. So we started to run tutorials, video tutorials, just walk people through step by step. This is how you can wash your hair and have it looking good at home. This is how you can wash your child's hair, because they were also stuck with their children's hair as well. And a lot of parents do not know what to do with their children's natural hair. Yeah, so that's how we were able to overcome that as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlene. And I think what's very important is having to be very adaptive to the environment. And you know, you didn't have, as you mentioned, access to supermarkets, but you had a data on who your clients were. So you were able to then reach them online. And I loved your video tutorials. They were very helpful for me as well. Halima, you're a Google developer in charge of ensuring that Uganda has teams that can apply for a Google Challenge. So this is basically funding given out to innovative companies that would be able to apply. Now, of course, the lockdown happens. Everything has come to a halt. What challenge did you face, and what did you do to ensure that, you know, this program continued?
Not most, but there are 14 universities in Uganda that have the Google Developer Student Fund structure running their different campuses. And for us as Makerere University, we got ours in 2020. I wanted to be the pioneer lead, but someone beat me to it. Yes. Yeah, but when it started, schools were closed. So there were no students at campus, and usually these events run in person. So there were no people attending events, the events were not there. So what the leads are required to do is to set up a core team to help them like run everything, and also, of course, develop a community that is going to be, because what Google Developer Students Clubs are, they're community-based, student-based actually, and they're for students that are interested in learning Google Developer technologies. So there are no students at campus. And what our lead did, in fact, I didn't go through. Someone else went through. And then I set out to find who that person was. When I got to know them, I asked whether I could join their core team, and they allowed. So I was part of the core team, but there were no students. There were very few students that knew about this chapter, this club at university. So we got very little engagement because most of the students were not even interested. They didn't have the morale. Everyone was at home doing housework, taking care of stuff. And so there were very few on the internet looking out for what is happening in university because they were closed. So what our lead did was set up a WhatsApp group, got a few people in, but still the engagement was so little. We opened up a Twitter page, but still the engagement was very little. So we ended up not doing any event in 2020. And usually, you lead for 1 year. So yeah, his term got done, and I stepped up. Yeah, because I had a vision for my career. I wanted to see students, because so many students in the software engineering class are there not because they wanted to, but because it's the course that was available. They wanted to do electrical, to do, all those fancy engineering courses, but they ended up they were put in software engineering, and so they want to finish very fast and go do some other things. I personally do want to do software engineering, but I found myself in that course. But then along the way, someone advised me to do the best that I can to get whatever knowledge is there. So that's what I did, and I picked up the interest along the way. I love it so much. I think it's the best. I don't know who chose it for me, but they did. Yes, it was an amazing decision they did for me. And yeah, I love it, and I want to help all those students in Mercury University that have a passion for tech, but they don't know where to turn to be able to get all those skills, build projects that solve challenges in our community.
Thank you, and I love your passion. I see you doing big things in future. Charlene, you did mention to us a bit of the opportunities that you were exposed to during lockdown. So you went online and then you taught, you had video tutorials on how to wash hair. But were there other opportunities that presented themselves to you?
As I mentioned before, I mentioned that because it really was one of our biggest blessings in disguise that came out of the pandemic, was just really being able to reach our customers directly. I say that because I suppose were it not for the lockdown situation, we wouldn't have realized that a lot of people were just sort of waiting for the knowledge, for the guidance that we had been holding back on all these. I suppose we had taken it for granted that people can just go to their hairdressers directly and have their hair done. But what do you do when you can't access your salon? We found that a lot of our clients last year who were previously very, very opposed to doing their hair themselves have actually realized that this is something I can do. So that was huge for us. In terms of opportunities, we were able to open up, to start a website that has really seen our sales growing. It's funny because 2020 was one of our best years in terms of sales and revenue. So that has been a huge opportunity was a huge opportunity for us. We were also forced to look inwards in terms of our supply chain. So some of the inputs that we were previously getting from China, we started to source, if not from within Uganda, then from within the region, because it's easier to get something from Nairobi, on a bus rather than waiting a month, 2 months for something to come from China. So I think our biggest opportunity was just in terms of being able to directly engage with our customer. As you know, in Kampala, it's one of the easiest ways to grow a business in Kampala is through word of mouth. So when someone has seen what you do and experienced it themselves, our customer base has since doubled from last year, and our sales, like I said, our sales last year were really record for us, just from putting ourselves out there, engaging with people, and then having them share that with their friends, their family.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So the opportunities you had is you were able to know your clients more and what they needed in terms of maintenance.
Absolutely.
And then you also saw your business grow in this period. You started a website. And what I've liked most is the sourcing regionally. And I'm just happy to see that Africa is now coming together to open their borders. We have the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that's going to now ensure that you can get some of the raw materials that are not here from within instead of having to look all the way to China.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. Thank you. Eunice, you were encouraged by your dad to go online, and I think during the lockdown, one of the sectors that was left to operate by His Excellency the President was the construction sector. And, that was, of course, allowed with, strict SOP guidelines. But work continued. I'm sure you still had the demand for the pavers, for the cement and all that. So what opportunities did this, present to you as you went online virtually?
Well, first of all, I realized that the building and construction sector contributes, I think, about 2.4 billion US dollars to the country's gross development product. So already that was a door for me. And what opportunities presented themselves? I got into the hackathon, the High People Hackathon. Of course, my personality, I'm an introvert. I don't like, coming out. But of course, another problem I faced was going to social media. I'm not so much of Facebook, what. But when I come to the hackathon, I think it gave me a push, a really big push. The first hackathon I wasn't even among the best or whatever. I was just hidden somewhere. But it gave me a push. From then I started going to social media, and I started putting the business out there. And of course I realized that this could be a platform to market people, not only just buying the building materials, but also market the professionalisms, the professional people that can provide services in the building and construction sector. So beyond just selling building and construction materials, of course transportation was hard because the president kind of put it on a stop, but it did not stop. I realized beyond working and making sure I get money through the online platform, I could market other people. I realized I could expand this because I remember one of the things that came from High People was include everyone. So from that perspective, I realized you can actually include the architects, include the surveyors, include the person that wants to paint a house. All these people are actually getting jobs. So this could be a web platform to market people that can give you the services and also have, money moving digital. You don't have to actually go to the bank, make the lines, do this, do that. You can do all this on one platform, even if someone doesn't have enough money. Yeah, so you can put people earning low incomes, but they want to build a house. You can create, a certain scheme for them to save up for a house. So I've learned all this from High People. and the opportunity that was actually a big opportunity that presented itself to me. It gave me a go, like a push. And I can't stop talking about that. I just want to thank High People. And from then I've learned to go to social media because they kept on telling us, please post this, go to, Twitter, do this, do that. And I've learned to do that, to keep on marketing the business. So that was an opportunity for me, and I've gotten more clients through that. So it's kind of amazing.
Yes, it definitely is. And it just shows also the importance of fintech, that, you're able to purchase, buy and sell goods online. And this gave you an opportunity. What I'm getting from is your business did grow, because before you were just selling, but now you are able to get other services that you could provide, and not just the goods, but also the services that other people within the industry are providing. That's fantastic. Ladies, before you leave, we would like to just get more of your insights on what you think the future of Uganda women entrepreneurs looks like. We'll start with Halima, our student lead.
Okay, what the future looks like. When we look at the past history, we see that most of women are responsible for most of the outstanding developments in STEM. For example, we could talk of an American physicist, Sally Ride, who became an astronaut for NASA. You could look at all those other people that have done outstanding things. Even back here in Uganda, we have our but we have Winnie Byanyima as the first female aeronautical engineer, followed by Lynette Kebirungi, who is the second. And also so many other people like Dr. Precious, who went ahead to solve a global problem in the railway that had lasted for 200 years. So all those outstanding things being done by women. So when we look at the past and what is being done right now, all these other programs that are being put up for women, all like what High People is doing, what we do is doing right now, all those other things that are being set up for women, the future can only be bright. And so we as ladies right now need to just leverage on those opportunities. Let's go out, let's show up whenever these opportunities come up. Let's show up, let's go all in, let's go all out, and make sure that we get these opportunities, because they're here, they're right in front of our faces. So there is nothing to actually
Thank you. And what maybe the participants might not know is you want to be a pilot and you've been studying to do that. So you're actually already doing this. You're already getting out there and doing this. That's amazing. Thanks, Halima. Eunice?
All right. Okay, I see growth in leadership as regards women. Of course, we have to have synergy and work together as women. The problem we have as women is competition. I must say that if I see the other ladies doing better than I am, I want to fight them and beat them. But I love what Damali is doing. I mean, just lay a block and let people rise on you, and together we are going to make it. Of course, I hear a statement normally said by people that women have better finances than men. So about the men who have issues, having women coming on board, I think we can only work together. You can see it in the family setting when you see a woman and a father, they all play different roles, but a child has to have both the male and the female. Yeah, you need to have that security that comes from a man, but as well, you have to have that feminine thing that brings out character in a man. So if we come together, both women and men, and build business and entrepreneurship, we will go places. No fighting, no pulling ropes, no, I mean, a lot of these things happening. We can only do it together. So thank you so much. Ideation Corner, I don't know. Damali, I don't know the heart that you have for people. Thank you so much. You have shown us a standard and you have set a pace for us. We can only build on you.
Thank you, Eunice. And that's very powerful about women needing to support each other, because when we don't, we know who benefits the most out of that. But let's just work together. Men, you have your role. Women, we have a role. Let's really work together. And then lastly, Charlene.
Yeah, I see the future of women entrepreneurship as bright as well. It's not different from what my fellow panelists have said. In the beauty industry alone, I see so many opportunities that actually were also exposed by the pandemic. Sometimes I sit and I wonder, but why do I have to buy a particular input from some person who I don't even know in another country when it's something that we could do here? There's so many opportunities in just even doing things like making our own hair extensions. I know that there's a lady doing them from banana fiber, which is incredible. There's opportunities for color cosmetics, for skincare, and I just really, really want to encourage someone who, if you're out there, you're thinking about what you can do, you have a passion for beauty, just start, see what is out there, identify the gaps and begin. And for us who have already started, let's really, really challenge ourselves to collaborate with women as much as we can. I'm so proud to be, to have my team thinking in that way. When we think about, what other raw materials can we just recently started working with honey, and we could have bought honey from anywhere, but we decided to support women farmers in Arua who actually have, one of the best types of honey that I've seen. So if you have an existing business, identify the women around you that you can plug into your business, whether it's as a supplier or as a reseller. Just really look around and see, because we all know that when we're supporting women, most likely 9 times out of 10, you're supporting someone who is feeding their family, who has kids to raise, who has, elders to take care of. So yeah, I think if we work together, it can be a really bright future.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Charlene. And I like the opportunities you brought out in the cosmetics. We can actually make these things here. Buy Uganda, build Uganda. I'm an advocate for that as well. So ladies, thank you so much, Halima, Eunice, and Charlene.
Something else that I had forgotten to share. Right now, that I'm lead, there have been a lot of changes in the GDG chapter of MOOC. We have organized sessions. There are over now 6. We started in September actually, and the chapter goes on until next year in September still. But we've organized like 6 of them, and this being virtual and everything, now we have an opportunity of collaborating with other universities globally around the world. We are right now having a Python workshop. We have done two sessions so far. The first session, we had over 107 people joining the call. And in the session that we had yesterday, the second session, we had more than 300, and Zoom could not even cater for all of them. Others had to just live stream on Facebook. So it is really growing and it is big. So I'd like to encourage university students to get attached to these communities and learn as much as they can. We have the solution challenge coming up, just like you mentioned. Let them team up and then present their solutions globally, solutions that align with the SDG goals and also solve local problems.
Thank you very much, Halima. Participants, if you want to know more about these ladies here, their stories, how Eunice went from being a lecturer and then now to construction, how Charlene started mixing products for natural hair at her home to supplying literally every salon in the city. And all these stories are on Ideation Corner. Do get on Ideation Corner and get inspired. Thank you very much, Halima, Eunice, and Charlene. Please, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you all very much. That wasn't a bomb. Everyone calm down. Our panelists can now leave. Thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you once again to our panelists. I hope that was very informative, educative, inspiring, and you'll be taking a lot of these lessons with you. At this juncture, allow me to invite our Chief of Guests, Miss Blessing Immaculate Owomgisha. She's the Acting Secretary General of Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to give some remarks as we close the event. Blessing, you're very welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Okay, I don't know if it is just the ladies, but you're too late. I'm getting worried, but my name is Blessing Owomgisha Immaculate. I am the Acting Secretary General for Uganda National Chamber of Commerce. I'm very glad to be here because I'm an entrepreneur. I deal in winery. Yes, I sell alcohol. But on top of that, I'm a team lead at Ayuda Legal Business Clinic. It's a legal clinic for startups, youth and women, for basically legal advice free of charge, really, to make sure that we comply. We started that during the COVID period. We realized there are very many people that were, I'm a lawyer by profession, so we realized there are very many young people that were coming up with so many business ideas, and they wanted to know how to start. So we decided that this is something small that me and my classmates can start up, so that we're able to build each other and get people on board as they do business. But also in my line of work, because we get to interact with so many young people, and especially women, that want to start business and they do not know how to start. I know that for a fact we've already discussed that we are over 40% women entrepreneurs in Uganda. We are the highest in the world, which is a very, very good thing. But it is important for me to also note that we are just looking at the formal sector. When we go to the informal sector, women form 70% of the entrepreneurs in Uganda today. And it's not because women do not want to formalize. I think we get comfortable with what we're doing, getting our little money, keeping it in our pockets, sometimes not even in the bank, and living a day at a time. But when I was invited, I noticed that I could talk about three things, and I am very, very impressed about what the lady shared today. It is a story that inspires most of us here who are here physically, but also online. Things that I can talk about is that one thing that I learn as I read, as I interact with women everywhere, is that we as women inspire a lot. We look at people, we look at, I want to be like this person, I want to build my business like this individual, I want to even get to hear them speak to me, I want to earn money they are earning, I want to change communities that are like the way they are doing. I know that Dama is doing a very good job, so I know that there are women who are saying, oh my God, she motivates me, I want to be like her. Most of us even take a second step to even acquire the knowledge that we need. All the trainings that we have at Uganda National Chamber of Commerce, 90% women. We even have notebooks, write down what we need to do, record, take pictures so that we do not forget. But now it comes to applying them. Now that is where our problem starts. Our problems start from. We want to learn as much information, but we apply them on the first day, we go to the second day, and then when it comes to the end of the year, we've probably, gone to other things, given up. Research shows that 90% of the women that start business in Uganda do not last even 1 year. Because we move, today we're in hair products, and a friend of ours will come and convince us, oh, there's great opportunity in, selling alcohol, then you run and sell alcohol. Oh, there's another great opportunity in selling dresses. Oh, you run and sell dresses. Before you know it, if I can even randomly ask how many businesses we've run as women here, physically here, you'll be shocked. A lady will come up with 1 million ideas. Today, oh, I was dreaming and I thought about this. Oh, they thought about this and they thought this. Before you know it, we have over 100 million ideas. We have the whole year. You write down the things that you have actually achieved and you say, I started up this business, or I opened up this shop, or I did this, but the consistency kills it. I know our lovely moderator talked about the African Continental Free Trade Area, and it's something that I am very passionate about, so I cannot live without talking about it. So, this opens an opportunity to 54 countries. 54 countries, millions and millions. It's the largest market in the world, actually. But our target buyers here, even Uganda National Chamber of Commerce knows it, is that our target is the youth and the women. And of course, most of us fall in the youth and the women that we're here today. But of course, we cannot move without preparing ourselves. This market is available, but some of us will not be able to tap into it. And I just want to mention a few things that we can work on. The first thing is that we need to move from the informal sector and formalize our businesses. You are not going to import your goods to Kenya unless you're going to get them in your bag. Say, oh no, I'm going to use these when I'm on holiday, then you take them. If you're going to legally do that, there are particular steps you have to take. I know that when you contact lawyers will tell you, no, you need 1 million. No, you don't need 1 million to register your company. You don't need 1 million to even register your business name. That's one identity that you must get. Today you are called a blessing and something, the next day you're called this, the next day we can't find you. You're only relying on your relatives and friends to buy your products, and yet you are very talented, you're creative, you can dig into the rest of the market if you actually take particular steps. So the first thing that we should think about doing is formalization. With or without money, you can do that. Because really, registering a name takes what? 55,000? You register it online, you don't need a lawyer, you can do that yourself. When you register your name, you get a certificate of registration of name. That means that no other person will ever use that name. If you become big, you can even move from registration of name and incorporate your company when you get money. But when you do not have money, you can just, register your name. And that's one step that you take. The other step that people fear taking is actually getting a team. I had a privilege of shortlisting people that were doing events management for the annual Women Lawyers Conference. And there's a very, very, very talented woman that I had shortlisted. And I asked them, how come this person did not qualify? Do you know what they told me? She does not have a team. We cannot contact. We are paying money. You're supposed to remit some taxes. And for you, say, for me, I'm a small business. I'm not supposed to pay taxes. But one thing that you should know is that you don't pay taxes on actually money that you are spending. You pay a tax on a profit, money that you get from people. So you can still have a tin. As long as you're not making profit, you can still file new returns until you eventually start making profit. But you have a tin, so that in case someone who's legit wants to contact you and carry out business with you, you easily comply with everything that is needed. The other thing that I want to talk about is consistency in quality and quantity. It is one thing that kills businesses today. Today you tell me that, oh my God, my hair products actually do this magic. And I believe you. I come and buy your hair products. The first day, they work magic. The next day, I go to a supermarket to buy your products. They are destroying my hair. Now, I want to give you an example. Last 2 years back, Uganda used to export paper to the European markets. The first containers were very, very good. The next containers were mixed up, and now we are on a ban. Because of our consistency, we couldn't be consistent. So it doesn't matter how small your business is. If you're not consistent with what you're doing, whether you're my relative, my friend, my husband, I'm not going to buy things from you. And that is what happens with the rest of the people that you're going to sell your product with. So you need to be consistent. And consistent, I'm not saying if you're producing poor qualities, remain on poor quality. I'm saying if you have good quality, make them better, make them even the best. If someone gives you a compliment, and women, we mix a lot of emotions when someone gives us feedback. Women hate, I don't think that they hate feedback, but I think our mixed emotions, there's a way, we don't take in very good criticism. So someone says, oh, I think your product is not working well for me, and then you're like, this one hates me. Maybe because I have made it enough, maybe because I have this one. I know sometimes people do not give genuine feedback, but even the way you respond to that not genuine feedback can build you or can bring you down. So when someone gives you feedback, work on it. Let's try to compete favorably, not because I know that you have a straight card of being women. Every time I have a woman in my office, my first thought is, oh, she's a woman. Then let's see what she has to say. That's my first card. But then when you open your mouth to speak, there has to be something that is of substance that will encourage me to actually take you on as a woman. If you're selling the same products with a man, and I've given you the first option of saying, oh, this is my gender, so let's see what they have to say. If you have poor quality, I cannot take you on. So we need to be consistent in quality and quantity. Then lastly, I want to talk about the power in working together. That is one thing that we as women claim we have, and yet we do not have. Every time you're working with a woman, I know she has rightly put it, and I'm very grateful that I was already here. Every time you're working with a woman, if she's below you, it is very, very fine, because then you're not competing with her. But when you realize that you are almost getting on the same steps, now that becomes a problem. I always credit the men, because men will meet in a restaurant, they do not know each other, they discuss business options, they take on business opportunities together, and they work together. But for us, we want to find ways of, competing with Damali, then you compete with Blessing, then before you know it, you're tearing each other down. But it is very important to know that all of us have an aspect that we contribute to our businesses. For example, if I identified that a woman is into winery, and I can buy from her on wholesale, why not? And if I can identify that I can sell my goods to Guru, when you say Guru, why not? It is very important for us to know that we can't finish this world. We can build each other together. All of us, all of us can become rich, all of us can become successful, and all of us can coexist as women. So when we understand that bit, then we will know that the reason why Mary is actually doing honey is because I can support Mary and buy from them. And then it is a cycle of all the women supporting each other, so that your story is not in isolation. There's a woman that we invited to be a speaker at one of the events. A very, very famous judge, I can't talk about her name. And then when I invited her, she was like, but why do you want everything on a silver platter? Why do you want me to come and share my story, so that at the end of the day, you don't struggle like we did? We struggled a lot, so everyone should go through and have a story to tell. But we are past that generation where we have to struggle and tell stories. I started with 0, now I feel that doesn't work anymore. So we can build each other as women. We can take the very many opportunities for women. Every time they call a training, attend it. Even if you've attended a million trainings, if you can create time, attend it. Now we have an option of attending on Zoom. We have an option of attending through a friend, through a colleague. Attend it, because you do not know where your opportunity is going to come. There are very many opportunities for applying for grants for the businesses that you are running. They share them over 1 million. But trust me, a woman will see it, will ignore it, and then when someone wins it, then they will say, See, I saw it first. So that is not how it works. When you see an opportunity, apply for it aggressively. Go out of your way to even inquire. Get mentors, but not mentors that will tell you what you want to hear. You know, I will pick on my friend because my friend will always tell me, oh, bless you, your hair is well done. But that's not it. Tomorrow my hair is not going to be well done and she will say your hair is well done. I will go out in public and people will be like, what is wrong with her? So there are people that have to be very honest with you and say, you know what? I think today your product sucks. So we can do better. Then tomorrow when you're doing an amazing job, she will be like, yes, you're doing a good job. So you know where you're headed. So do not only surround yourself with people that will tell you what you want to know, because the same people that will tell you what you want to hear, what you want to know at what time, will end up leaving you in a stagnated opportunity. So get people on your side who will tell you that, you know what, I think you did a good job today, but I think we can do better this way. At the end of the day, you will sit back and realize that it was a journey. Yes, it was a long journey, but it was worth taking. So for me, my take home is, how much do you aspire? What are you aspiring to be in your business? Where do you want to see yourself? And I'm not meaning 5 years from now. I am saying, where do you want to see yourself tomorrow? Tomorrow, like today is Friday, yes? Where do I want to see myself on Monday? What are the little steps that I am taking towards where I want to see myself? The little steps can be that today I plan to do 20 things, but I managed to do 5, but I'm going to push the 5 to get. But this week I know that we're celebrating women, so I do not want to give you the tough love, which I have already given you. Yes, but I want to celebrate all the women that are going out of their way to do something, however little. It doesn't matter whether you're a student, whether you're a single mother, whether you are a wife. I want to celebrate you because you are doing an amazing job. The world would not be the same if you actually did not do all these things. So it is a very good thing that you're taking these tough steps. I know that you're competing with very aggressive men out there, like we all do, but I know that they're also very supportive human beings if you actually show that you want to grow. So let's take advantage of the opportunities and grow together. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much, Immaculate. Wasn't that very inspiring? Yeah? That was very inspiring. Thank you. And thank you for raising, the opportunities for the women to see. You mentioned the 54 countries. That's huge. That's huge. Just to highlight some of the key points that our chief guest mentioned, it's important to formalize as you grow, register. Don't be afraid to get a team because they only pay you on the profit made, not on what you've spent. Consistency in standards, that's very key. Power in working together, and not just as women, but I think all of us, women, men, government, private sector, if we do get together. And I already see that there's already been some support that you've been providing to women in terms of standards and information. And then acquiring networks, I think that was very key. So thank you very much. At this juncture, I want to close the event, and I just want to acknowledge Damali Sali again for doing this. Thank you so much, Damali. We do Ugandan ambassador. This is great, and I think joining the movement and just continuing to empower and give women opportunities to grow. As we've said, the future is female, is very inspiring. The other teams I want to thank, of course, I want to thank Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, our chief guest here. I want to thank High People, the CEO, Innocent Kawoya, production. They did the production, the setup, the visibility. All this was done. They all just provided all this for free. We don't take that for granted. Thank you very much. Stanbic Business Incubator, the CEO, Tony Otoa, gave us this venue for free. And Met Media, Emma Chintu, thank you so much. We are live streaming on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, photography. Again, this is for free. So as you can see, Damali used her networks. We've mentioned the importance of networks. She's used her networks to come and make this event successful. So thank you to our participants who've made time to come, our panelists, very inspiring stories. Do go on Ideation Corner for more in-depth stories, but thank you participants for making time, and for all those that are here that have joined us physically and online, our online family, thank you all very much. Lunch is available. Do feel free to stay for lunch. It's available down at the compound, and this is the opportunity again to network, so please do stay for lunch. Thank you all very much. Stay safe.